People call the Marathon game an Arc Raiders killer, so should Embark and the Raiders be afraid? To see what's up, I jumped on during the server slam period to discover whether these two games should even be taken as competitors, and thus whether Arc Raiders is in danger. While Arc Raiders was living up to its hype, we all saw a decline of active players, but mainly we felt it while waiting for something new to happen in game. The current state of game development is mainly focused around balancing changes, while adding smaller updates such as the new Hurricane map condition or new arcs. But are these the changes which would help retain the community? First, we have to be extremely careful with any conclusions, mainly because Marathon is currently in a pre-launch phase and is doing a server slam. Arc Raiders had limited content during this phase as well, resulting in further additions to the game as it fully launched. Now, with Marathon launching on the 5th of March, should we expect higher drops in numbers on Arc Raiders? To answer the question, we have to first compare the games side by side, because I believe these two games, even though they both fall under the extraction shooter/looter genre, are very different at their core. First of all, I really believe Arc Raiders brought something very specific and fresh to the gaming industry, while their main focus and main target group was the casual player. A married dad with 2 children having a few hours to game a week. And even the game feels very casual. We got the third-person perspective, which is already a huge differentiator from Marathon, which is a first-person shooter. Thanks to third person, I believe Raiders and casual players have a safer feeling towards a slower-paced game, where they can take cover and explore what is around the corner without exposing themselves. Secondly, the gameplay of Arc Raiders also focuses around lore, where machines and arcs should be our main enemy. We can clearly see that as the biggest threat is currently a queen or matriarch, with future updates bringing even bigger and stronger arcs to defeat. And for that, Raiders have to stick together. Arc Raiders has a fairly easy user interface. Each weapon has a few attachments. Each Raider has 1 slot for an augment and 1 slot for a shield. Then, each Raider has their own skills, and that is pretty much it. And here comes Marathon. First, we have 7 shells to choose from. A shell is basically a playable character with its own skills and utilities. And right there is one of the main differences, where in Arc Raiders we all share the same skill values and play as Raiders. But in Marathon, you can further edit your equipment towards different values, such as agility, hardware, fall resistance, and many others. And in order to do this, you have dozens of different implants, cores, and weapon attachments, which all modify your playstyle. Are you starting to see the pattern? What I'm trying to say is, while Marathon allows you to fully modify your character to play different playstyles, such as equipping additional implants to sustain more damage as a tank, Arc Raiders does not have this option other than equipping a different shield. Now, is this bad? Personally, I think no, because these two games are completely different, and each is aiming at a totally different group of players. A Marathon is a great combination of Apex Legends and brings so many vibes similar to the cycle Frontier, which was unfortunately destroyed by cheaters and developers unable to respond to the situation. I also absolutely love the art style of Marathon, which reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk. And Arc Raiders? I truly feel like Arc Raiders is very hard to compare to anything I have played so far in my life, and that is another reason why I love that game. Furthermore, the game allows players to basically choose 2 primary game modes, either PvP or PvE, and that is why I believe Arc Raiders should not really be afraid of Marathon, or vice versa. Arc Raiders is currently going through its deployment phase and its first roadmap. When was the last time a game dropped with such an amazing roadmap? Escape from Tarkov took 10 years to get to full release. And as a Tarkov veteran myself, I envy every person that never touched this game. And how much really changed on the full release of Tarkov? Talking about Tarkov leads me to another point. Arc Raiders is an amazing entry-level game for those willing to try the extraction shooter genre. But by playing Marathon, I already see a much bigger skill requirement and grind behind this game. And again, we can ask, is that something bad? Absolutely not, because Marathon is aiming at more competitive player base. I would not be crazy to say that in the future there will be tournaments done on this game, such as Apex Twitch Rivals and others. I do not see that happening for Arc Raiders, though. To further support this claim, I actually tried talking to people yesterday through proximity chat in-game, and I never got any response. I was always shot on sight. This means that the Marathon player base is clearly oriented towards a PvP-only approach. I do believe that working with random people in solo lobbies could be great in this game. However, the player-based behavior towards cooperation is completely missing, which leaves the game feeling like a pure last man standing experience. Replayability and developers listening to the community is something that should not be undermined. And Arc Raiders has definitely set a high bar for such expectations. To conclude, I believe Marathon might pull some players away from Arc Raiders, but at the same time, I believe a lot of them will return once they realize that the overall, more casual gameplay is what they are actually looking for. On the other hand, more competitive players might steer towards a more PvP-oriented playstyle, including myself, and maybe in the near future you can expect some Marathon footage from me as well. But my final statement is clear. Arc Raiders should not be afraid, mainly due to the completely different player bases these two games are targeting. So Raiders, did you have a chance to try Marathon? Or are you loyal to our lovely game? Let me know in the comments, but please, be respectful. Thank you. John Raider out.